Hey y'all, so I am so excited because you guys have responded in the biggest way to the Tell Me More podcast. And this is at the heart of everything I want to do, right? It's been amazing bringing you honest, unfiltered, judgment free conversations from people that you may know about, right? And have heard from, but may not actually know and hear what they think. And it's just been really inspiring. So thank you so much for all the incredible feedback. Know that you can head back and listen to some of our incredible, powerful, viral interviews and know that we have a lot more coming. But I also want to honor the relationship and the origin, the core, right, of the former Nicole Walters podcast and make sure that the Tell Me More podcast still lets me tell you more about what's going on behind the scenes, what you're seeing on social, what you're seeing on TV, and give you an update on the life, the kids, how I'm doing this whole business thing, managing all this stuff. So today's chat is going to be a solo, but I'm not by myself. I'm with your favorite person, honestly, the legendary guest that supersedes all other guests and that I hear the most feedback about. And honestly, we get the most downloads about. He's here again.
I'm back.
We are here with Alex, my husband. And by the time you're listening to this, we have already celebrated our first wedding
That's
anniversary.
right.
And we're just here to give you an update on a very, very hot topic. It's huge. We actually talked about it in the car and we were like, all right, we're going to finally do this because it was requested like months ago. And I finally got a hold of you, but we'll actually talk about why I haven't been able to get you in here for so long
Right. Yep.
and chat about all the things. But how are you doing first, Alex? We're happy to have you here with us on the Tell Me More podcast
Oh, it's
with Nicole Walters.
it's a pleasure to be back.
There it
It's a
is.
pleasure to be here.
Thank you for
Yes.
your soothing
Oh,
podcast
yes.
voice.
Oh, always. Yeah, I won't disappoint.
You will never disappoint. Yes, thank you for being here. So, first things first, the reason that you're here is because I can't even tell you my podcast. I think we talked about it in a chat a while back briefly about how we managed to like set new goals and crush them
Hmm.
and or do like really big endeavors, both financially, career-wise, professionally, life-wise, every 3 months or so, which is wild.
Yeah, it's not normal. Like
Yeah.
it's very strange, but yes, that's been the track.
And
Like
we've been
every three
together for
months.
years now. And the
Hmm.
idea that every 90 days we are accomplishing a new financial or professional goal. When we said it, and just so everyone knows, when we said it on another chat in passing, I didn't even think anything of it because we talk about it all the time in our house. It's like
Yeah, it's just kind of like
normal.
every 3 months something crazy
There
happens,
we
and then it's
go.
just like, all right, here we go, right on track, and
Right. Ready. Here's the next
just
thing.
matter of fact.
Matter
But
of fact. And so what happened was my podcast producer who was editing this down, well, one of them, she was like, yeah, so you mentioned this like a while back, and I've kind of been waiting for you guys to get to it. And I was like, not you putting in requests, sis. You know what I mean?
right.
She's listening to the edit of this right now, and I'm just saying, Lauren, girl, like, I get it. Okay. We are finally giving you what you want and what the people are asking for.
Give the
'Cause,
people
like,
what they
give the
want.
people what they want, right? So,
Mhm.
so we're gonna break down kind of our strategy, mindset, and tools for, especially in partnership, how we are managing to, I guess, be our definition of a power couple, right?
Yeah, and
And
how we keep up this schedule of like every 3 months, like we're hitting some kind of goal or
mhm.
the needle's always moving, like,
Mhm, mhm.
yeah.
Without burning out and without hating each other
Yeah.
and, because I think what's the point of because listen, you say, "Yeah," but it's true. I've been in partnerships where if you watch them from the outside and you're like, "Man, Nicole is crushing it. She was here and now she's here, but at what expense?" I
Right.
don't feel that here
Right.
in this relationship.
Mhm.
So, the first thing that, if you wanna grab your pens and pencils because geniuses take notes, right? The first thing that I think it's worth noting is just sort of what type of accomplishment are we talking about? Because we're not just talking about like, oh, I don't know, I lost 3 pounds or something like not that that's a minor accomplishment,
Yeah,
right? We're
still a
not
big
talking about that.
accomplishment.
We're talking about bigger things like, hey, we wanna have a baby, or hey, I wanna get this New York Times, best-selling book called Nothing Is Missing, available everywhere books are sold.
Mhm.
But like,
Nice.
whatever goal it is, we've been able to hit that. So
Mhm.
those are some of the things.
Yeah.
The bestseller, the Emmy nomination, like for me, like that was a thing.
Yeah, career goals,
Mhm.
just milestones and where you wanna hit, meeting
Yeah.
certain people, putting yourself in certain positions for the future, like just
Mhm. Mhm.
all the things.
Yeah, for you, you've enrolled in a music program and finished that music program.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
a big deal. That was 9 months long.
Yeah.
Congrats, by the way.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm really
Yeah,
proud of you.
it was very intense. It was a 9-month intensive, and I learned a ton. I've met some incredible people in the music industry, and, I've got other opportunities that have come out of it because, through the process, leave no stone unturned, just
Mhm.
pursue every possible angle, every possible thing, work your ass off. But yeah, it was just kind of a keep your head down, grind it out, and, now I'm on the other side and, better for it, better position.
But here's the mess that you didn't see, right? So, typically, when people are in a, music program or an intensive or not even a music program, doing anything in life like master's program or college or whatever, and you're an adult with kids, that really does fill up the room, right? I it's almost kind of like, and I do not say this to minimize the experience of what it is for military spouses, but basically that feeling of your partner sort of being deployed to another venture and you just have to hold down the fort. This is why
Oh,
when I
yeah.
always tell military spouses, thank you for your service, because even though they're not on the ground as well in the same capacity, they are holding it down so that person can be on the
Oh,
ground. You know
yeah.
what I
Oh my
mean?
god, for me to be in the middle of this intensive program and pursuing my
Tell
dreams
them what they
and,
didn't see, because this is what
you
y'all
know
didn't know this.
yeah, I mean, like, we had our baby, smack in the middle of it,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
that was
Bananas.
really, really tough,
Yeah.
to have a baby in the middle of this crazy program, still working weekends and 5 days a week, putting in, 10 to 12 hours a day,
Yeah.
and, you just were the rock,
Oh,
for
you're
the
very
house and
kind.
held it down, you know, and there was definitely some times where it was tough and it can be overwhelming, and
I mean,
through
it was more than, I mean, let's just be, like, all the way
it's
real. I mean, I was, and especially for the mamas out there who are listening who've been pregnant, we're talking, I was dealing with, what, 9 months pregnant, 8 months pregnant, basically all of the because the program started in September, so when it started, I
Mhm.
was already 3 or 4 months pregnant,
Right.
at that point. So going through, which that actually wasn't the worst part, because 2nd trimester is a, hopefully for a lot, it's a little
Right.
easier,
Right.
but I went through the meat of this program, and there were days where I would be sitting on the couch because he would not be home, you know what I mean? Like, he's working, and I say this to you where you are such a rock star because you would literally do this full workday, then come home and be like, "What do you need? Can I rub your feet? Do you need a snack? Do you need whatever?" When you were tired, your ass was exhausted and you were coming back to take care of me.
Yeah, I mean, I was doing my best,
Yeah, and
like
you did amazing. You
yeah,
did
I mean, there
amazing.
was some moments, I think I didn't do as great just
Mhm.
because I was exhausted or,
Exhausted, yeah, but
it
we had
just was
times where,
what it
like,
was.
literally you'd come home in tears, like, in the beginning, like, it was
Oh,
really
the
hard.
stress was real, yeah.
Yeah.
The stress was real, but I mean, I think the main thing out of it was to somehow come out of this experience without having you built up all this resentment for me.
So
You you
let's get
know?
into it
You know?
because having been divorced before, this is your first marriage, this is my second for people who don't know, but having been divorced, one of the things I can say really transparently that a lot of couples don't discuss is how mental load and an unfair distribution of
Mhm.
workload is, like, such the core of resentment. It's also why when I think a lot of people get divorced and they're like, "Well, what was the reason?" Because this is something, people ask about me all the time. "Well, what was the reason? Who's to blame? Whose fault is it?" People always look at a breakup of relationship to try to figure out who did it, but they don't understand that that bad boy is usually a slow burn,
Mhm.
and that slow burn usually has to do with either feeling neglected, unfair workload distribution, and that is like, I don't know why I'm feeling emotional about it, you know what I mean? But, like, that was the thing I was the most scared about during
Yeah.
this time frame because we are so used to working hard on our goals, and I want you to have the space to be who you are, but I, like, had to trust that you would show up still,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know?
Yeah, I mean, that's why I couldn't not.
Right.
I couldn't not show up.
Oh, but Imma tell you, like I said, I've been divorced before, it is possible to not.
You're right, I know it's possible,
It
but
is
I was like, it
possible.
is imperative that I do
Mhm.
not do that,
Mhm.
because like, what is the point of, like, building this future and building your and sacrificing and putting yourself through these things and, you know, like, I think of the example of somebody who's like, "Well, I'm working for the family and I'm working for that and I'm trying to build this thing," and,
Mhm.
but then after all of it's built and said and done, if you don't have that family to come back to because through that process you've lost them, then what are you
Mm.
sacrificing and working so hard for?
That's the reality of it. I
You
think a lot
know?
of people don't realize when they look, just because we're both in the entertainment field, we both are creatives, we both have, unconventional work. So our
Mhm.
goals don't look the same. So like let's kind of say, so you guys, that's an
Mhm.
example. Just it's been crazy. Every 3 months we are getting divorced, getting remarried, having a baby, moving to a new home, having a kid come in, having a kid move out,
Yeah.
like there's just always something going on,
Mhm.
new office space, new awards, new songs being recorded, new artists being signed. Like there's always something going on. So since we know that happens every 3 months, the first thing that I think we both established to help us do this is trust.
Yeah.
That trust, I feel like we are constantly working on it.
Mhm.
At its core, it exists, but we're constantly working on it.
Yeah, always. I mean, we have to trust each other to do the things that you say you're gonna do. I do the things that I say I'm
Mhm.
gonna do, and trust that we have each other's best interests in mind
Ooh.
and at heart. And like, I was saying before about, having empathy and having a slice of humble pie,
Mhm.
like trusting that I'm not putting myself as a priority above you or your work, and you're not doing that to me either because we both have value, and our both of our work has value. Even sometimes, like we said, like sometimes it's not monetary,
A lot of times it's
you
not
know?
monetary because in different seasons, both of us will have work that's important or things that are important that are not. Just we're in an entertainment industry where a lot of the effort you put on the forefront, will not have a dollar amount attached to it,
Right, like, sometimes it's leveraging relationships or just going out
Mhm.
to support a friend or things that just, like, feed the soul,
Mhm.
because the better you take care of yourself as a person and your partner, like, the better that they can work more efficiently and,
Mhm.
serve the things that they wanna serve and do the
Mhm.
things they wanna do.
And the payout will be on the back end. I mean, I
Yeah.
think of it like when you film a TV show. Yes, you may get like a contract. Just let you know, TV show contracts are not what people think they are. People think there's so much more money. Like, oh, you're on TV, you must be a quadruple billionaire. And it's like, really, it's not. Sometimes it can cost you more to be on TV. But later on the Tell Me More podcast, I'm going to actually have one of my good friends who's a reality TV star come in and talk to us about that more. And she'll tell you, like, the hype isn't what you think it is. But that being said, you know, in those situations, you are working on a TV show for 15-hour days for 3 months to film, hoping that on the back end you'll see revenue growth. And so you need a partner who's okay with you being gone for that long and knowing that what you're doing makes sense career trajectory wise, that it won't bounce back and hurt the family, that you're going to be mentally stable enough to like not blame or cause problems or have drama or whatever else, that you're still going to help your family goals.
Yeah, and
Like,
and that all comes back to trust because
mhm.
I'm trusting that you
Mhm.
know how to allocate your time and your energy towards things that are, like, useful and productive and will
Mhm.
pay out, and very intentional. It's not like, "Oh, I just wanna go do this thing because blah, blah, blah." It's like,
Right.
there is a reason and, like, you will see it later, but you have to trust me that, like, I know, like, what to do here,
And give you that autonomy too, because nobody wants to be told what to do, and no one wants to be shut down when it comes to their dreams. But there's also, like you said, the humble pie part is also, are you in a partnership where, one, you are going to own up and respect that that trust is given, So I've been on both sides of this, right? Where, I'm really proud to say, like, when I say that I'm gonna do something for my family, I truly keep my family in mind. Like, it is literally with the intent to grow. That is part of my core character.
Yep.
And so if my partner says, "I wanna pursue something for education," I will move mountains to, like, help their dream grow, and no one could say otherwise about me. If my partner ever says they want anything, I will do what I can to support them. Because I care about their happiness, I care about their growth. But within that, I also am trusting them, right, to drive their own decision making, and so when you do that for me, I then am in a position where I am like, "Oh, crud, I better show up," and you do a really good job with that, where if you say to me, "I need this much space,"
Mhm.
to work on this task, you like, haul ass to hit your goals
Yeah.
because you have this space, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? I've such a transformation in you, like, your time management, especially with the baby, you're like, "This is the time I have, Imma crush this
Oh
thing."
my god, yeah, I've had this conversation so many times with other musician friends and people who are
Mhm.
talking about having kids and whatever, and it's like, like, I thought kids would get in the way,
That's what
of
most
my
people think,
well,
like,
most people
"Oh,
think, yeah,
yep," or
but
they're naive and they think, "I'll do it with the kids."
yeah.
Nah,
No, no, you won't.
it's one or the other, you know
It's
what
one
I
or the other, you
mean?
just have to
Yeah.
make sure you have a good support system,
Mhm.
and you have people who got your back and your best interest at heart, because without that, it's really, really, really tough.
And it's true, like, a
But
great example of that would be this past weekend in preparation for, some of the podcast brand redesign thing. We've updated the music, we've updated the cover art, we've updated, everything about it because the podcast is just being completely reborn. And so because of that, why would I pay for music when I have a husband who does music? I said, you gonna use them same talents that you want to loan out to everybody, with their Grammys, you gonna get that to me. Right. So I was like, how about your little computer and your keyboard and make me a little
Do a
tink
little
tinky tink tink tink. I was like, I need one of those too. And so it was great because you were like, no problem. But catch this, I also had a photo shoot. I had some content creation and it was the weekend. I just had to work. So while I'm off doing those things, no joke, you had the baby in a bassinet
Mhm.
slash on your knee.
Yeah.
You were doing feeding, entertainment, whatever else for the baby, while also on the keyboard,
Yep.
while also on your computer doing editing,
Mhm.
mixing, whatever in your headphones.
Yep. I mean,
Like,
that's just what it looks like
and I wasn't
sometimes.
there, right, that's what it looks like sometimes, and I had to trust too that, like, when I was gone, which I think this is worth saying in a partnership, so people can hear this, there are some partnerships where your partner will say they're gonna do something, and that shit will not happen.
Mhm.
I can't tell you how many times I've come back in various partnerships I've been in, and partnerships meaning sometimes it can be coworker partnerships, okay? We're not just talking about,
Right.
like, relationship, but I would be in partnerships, I'd come back, and it would not be done. Like, it would be, I did everything else but the thing I was supposed to do and that you entrusted me to do, and that you extended yourself by doing all of this work in my absence, and I did not do the thing for whatever reasons, whatever excuses, whatever. It just did not happen. I am grateful that when I turn my back, you are the person you say you will be.
Yeah.
And that helps build that
That
trust.
helps build the trust because I'm like, if I'm telling you I'm gonna put in this amount of hours or this amount of work, and then I end up sitting on my ass during that
Mhm.
time, and especially now our time is, like, so valuable,
Oh my
and it's
gosh.
the ti
It's such a treat to be able to spend any time doing anything else but work
Oh,
stuff.
yeah, I mean,
So
even before we came into this studio, we were saying, like, "Man, it just"
one
no
thing after the
breaks,
other,
one
yeah.
thing after another, and I'm grateful because the things that we're doing are all forward-moving
Yeah.
things,
Mhm.
and that's how we, hit our goal of every 3 months,
Absolutely.
because everything we're doing is forward-moving
To move us
things,
forward. Mhm.
but it's
But
tiring,
it's tiring,
but
and
it's
then in the trust part too, I think there's also, maybe this is not messy, but this is a little bit of tea. I don't know what it is. I don't know how you wanna call it. You're like, "You
"Oop,
don't even know what I'm about to
oop,
say."
no, I don't. No, no, I'm
But
scared."
there's a little bit of tea, but it's like, we both work in the entertainment industry, and we both have as an element of our job, we're on the road, we're around, the opposite sex a lot. We
Mhm,
work like you're in a studio 10 to 15 hours with other women because they're musical artists. I'm on the road with high net worth male men and, and I get exposure to certain things. And knowing that that is an element of our work, part of how we hit our goals, because ooh, I don't know a nice way to say this either, but there are certain partnerships where people will be very insecure about you up leveling and growing
sure,
because they worry that you're going to enter environments where you will pass them, right? They're almost like jealous of you or don't want you to do it,
sure.
slash insecure, about it. And I love that I don't ever have to shorten our goals for our family and our life because I have that trust around you.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. I've had the conversation several times where a lot of men say that they want, like, a successful, independent woman and doing all
Mhm.
these things, but
Mhm.
then when they get one,
Mhm.
they don't necessarily like how it looks
Mhm.
because the
Mhm.
man isn't the one on top.
Speak it.
Maybe you're not making quite as much money,
Or going to the same
or going to the
places or
same places
visibility.
or running in high, circles,
Mhm.
like
There's nothing less hot though than a man who is wildly insecure, and does not support his woman who, like, if she's also doing all those things and coming home every night, taking care of stuff and,
Mhm.
supporting and giving you an opportunity to grow, what are you mad about? Stop
Yeah.
being so insecure. Let her grow.
Oh, yeah. I
Let her
mean, I've
grow.
always been like the one to wanna put myself in environments where I'm not the best in the room,
Mhm.
and, like, that is the best way to grow. That's the best way to move forward,
I think
and
in our marriage, we've created that environment, sort of a microcosm of that, because the areas where I'm not the best, you are so, like, well developed, and I think the same exists in some elements with me.
for
So,
sure.
like, in the room, we both have areas we can grow within each
For
other.
sure, and that's how we support each other because, like,
Mhm.
you have, just a wealth of knowledge that I don't, and,
Mhm.
I am just, like you said, I'm more knowledgeable about certain things that
Mhm.
you're not, and we,
Mhm.
fill those things for each
Yep,
other.
and push each other to grow. Like, you call me out all the time. You'll be like, I did a whole chat recently about toxic generosity, and you were one of the
Mm,
first people to say, like, "Nicole, you have to affirm your boundaries because people will take advantage of you if you're not affirming those boundaries."
mhm.
And part of that affirmation of boundaries is not just conflict avoidance or, creating other parameters or deflecting, but also opening your mouth to say, I'm not going to do that, and
Mhm.
like this isn't, a thing.
Or just being honest.
Mhm,
In
mhm.
general, just
Like, it makes me uncomfortable and I don't want to,
yeah,
like
yeah.
that sort of
Because
thing.
that's also part of pushing the needle forward.
Right.
That's forward
And
moving
time
also,
management and
and
not
time
taking from
management.
our family. Because if
Right,
I'm burnt out, when we've talked about this, if I'm burnt out because I didn't manage my time well, then my family gets a more tired version of me when I am available, and that's
right,
not fair either.
right. But the being honest thing to me is so huge because, like,
Mhm.
if you're not and you're just dealing and you're just putting up with whatever, then,
Mhm.
like, for however many months or years, that you are just dealing with the same things and you're not speaking up for yourself or you're not
Mhm.
saying how you want things to change, then, like, you're not moving forward. You're dealing with the same things forever,
Hence resentment.
hence resentment and hence unhappiness
Which is
and hence,
again and
like
that breeds other things like
oh, yeah.
insecurity, like, so another little story, which I guess is still, like, maybe a little tea, but not tea, but, like, the other night when it was at the end of your graduation, and you had an opportunity to hang out with sort of, like, the crew, right, like, artists, and it was a very, like, industry vibey sort of thing,
Mhm,
where everyone goes out, and this is an element of your work, believe it or not. I think that some people may have seen on shows like Love and Hip Hop or Real Housewives, you'll see these producers going out, and partying it up. And it sounds wild, but that is part of the industry, right? Like, it
sure.
really is.
Social, it's relationships,
It
it's
is
you gotta go hang
networking.
out.
It's how
It's
you
part of
meet
it.
people, right?
Yeah.
And, what sucks about that is, I, especially as a postpartum woman, do not love, a postpartum woman of a
Mm,
certain age, do not love the idea that you are going out and there are 20 something year olds, you know what I mean, everywhere who see dollar signs when they look at you, who see like opportunity when they look at you, like that is the nature of this industry,
mhm.
but the trust comes in one, knowing that not only am I good, you always come home every night, right? That's not an issue, but also knowing that communication. And the other time we had a breakdown of that,
Mhm.
being transparent. I don't
Yeah.
know if you want to.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine. I mean, I had a it's fine. I had a night where, I went out, and it was like a big night for the school. There was a showcase,
Mhm.
and then I went out. You were home.
Yeah, I wasn't feeling
What you
well.
weren't
Like,
feeling well,
yeah,
so I
to be
drove you
transparent.
home,
Mhm.
so that was most
Yeah, you made sure
important.
I was good. You made sure I was
Made
taken
sure you
care
were
of,
good, you were
all
home,
that.
you were safe,
Yeah.
and then I went out to the showcase, to
Mhm.
the show, and then, I ended up going out afterwards.
Yep.
And
And with
I
like
wasn't
producers,
with the
artists,
producers,
clients,
artists, some
potential, like
people.
it makes sense,
Yeah,
right?
but I wasn't really communicative with
Mhm.
what I was doing. I just
Mhm.
figured you were home, you were asleep, and I was like, I didn't wanna wake you up, and I was like, I'm just gonna be out,
Mhm.
and I'll see you later.
Yep.
But, like, I should have remembered that you're the worrying type, so you're not gonna sleep too
Mhm.
well,
Mhm.
and
And just to like context for y'all, like I don't micromanage I don't even wanna be in a partnership where I have to micromanage,
mhm,
anyone, honestly, employees, whatever. Please just enough rope to hang yourself, right? Go do whatever you wanna do, but, like, don't be crazy. Just, like, show up, be sane, right? Like, it's just whatever. And so, like, if Alex says he's out, and if he says, "I'll be home at whatever time," I'm not gonna when you're at the studio, I'm not hitting you up in the studio every 5 seconds,
yeah.
like, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" Like, not like that. I don't even want that. I don't check my man's phone. You know what I mean? Like, and if I feel like I ever have
Mm-mm.
to, then the relationship isn't
Right,
working.
like, that's a problem.
That's a problem to begin with, right?
Yeah.
So when I wake up at 3 a.m., if my man's not next to me, I'm immediately gonna look at my phone and not with any anger. I'm gonna assume it's like, hey, still out, couple more hours in this part of town, whatever. And part of why I'm like that is because I've been in partnerships before with partners who don't do anything. Where if I roll over, they are definitely there or they're in the house because they don't go anywhere. They're lazy, like they don't do anything. But for you, I have what I asked for, right?
Mm,
I said, God, give me a man who does stuff, who has work ethic, who's out, who helps pay the bills, who's a good father, who's good looking, who's responsible. I could go on all day, but God gave me
you
all
can
of
keep
that times that.
going.
I
Go ahead. You can keep going.
I said, God, give me everything and then some,
That's
okay?
right, and
So I
then
got
some.
that. But
The
also, you have now trained me to expect certain things, So when you are out, you call me in the car on the way home.
Right.
Without fail, I am used to that.
Yep.
So when you step outside of that and I'm like, oh, it's 3 a.m., I'm looking and I have heard nothing. Oh, see,
Mhm.
like, and I don't, we don't do like, look, I'm not tracking you. You know what I mean?
Right.
So,
Yeah, it's like anything, it's
you know what I mean?
trust comes with, like, transparency, communication, all the
Mhm.
classic,
And do you wanna talk about
relationship-y
how we
stuff.
solved it?
Uh, how did we solve it? How did we solve it?
You
Wait.
remember. So what happened was, and this is, I think, actually probably pretty telling, is like, it wasn't a fight. You know what I mean? And this all contributes again to our goal setting, right? Is how
Oh,
we communicate, you
yeah,
know?
because you brought it up
I brought it
and
up and I said, "Hey," well, the first thing I did was I sent you a text saying like, "Where are you?" And you were like, "Oh, I'm headed back," or something
oh,
like
no,
that.
no, you
And then I
said
sent a nasty
you
gram,
said that
a
you're like
firm text.
you firm text, you're like, "We need to talk." And my first thought was like, "Oh, shit, you're pregnant."
I know,
I was like, "Oh,
oh, no,
no."
no, no, you're saying it out of order. No, first I sent a text that same night saying, "Hey, if I did this to you, you would murder me."
Yes.
Which
Yes.
is true, right? If I ghosted, not ghosted, but if I like went someplace and you knew that I was out and who I was with, but then just stopped communication, you would do not like that.
I don't like it, but to be fair, this happened before.
It has happened before.
Well,
And what
and I
happened?
expressed how I didn't like it,
And
and
what
then
happened?
then
And
it
it was a
changed,
thing,
and then
right?
it changed.
And it was
Yes.
a thing. So
Yes.
you did not like that. And that was for me, it was just sort of, I think I was in a meeting, my phone was in the bag. Like I wasn't even changing
Something like that,
locations,
yeah.
but like that. And I definitely wasn't club hopping with
Yeah,
with,
no, it
with
wasn't anything
babies.
like
You
that.
know, it was
Yeah,
a
yeah.
business meeting. And you
Yeah.
were like,
Yeah.
But that said, then the next day, I think I was like, "Hey, we don't have to talk about it now because I knew you were tired,
Mhm,
whatever." So
mhm.
first thing about sort of maintaining the trust that allows you to accomplish goals is I didn't prioritize my need to have this conversation beyond your need for wellness and restoration.
Right.
Because you're my partner and I want you to be well. So I let you like sleep. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I let you have your day or whatever. And then I was like, and we had other things we had to accomplish. Like you still had work.
Yeah, we didn't
I
even
still
talk
had
till,
work.
like, the end of the next
The end
day
of the
because we were
next
just
day
doing
because we
stuff,
had stuff to do,
and
you
I knew the
know?
conversation was coming.
Absolutely.
I knew for sure.
Absolutely, the conversation was coming, okay? But I also wasn't going to, supersede our goals, like, and wreck you, you know what I mean?
Right,
And wreck your
right,
progress or my own progress,
right,
to prioritize this conversation beyond like what was required. There's no urgency there. It's
right,
balancing that out,
right,
because that's selfish almost, you know what I mean? But when the day had ended, I texted and I said, "Hey, are you able to come home early? Because we need to talk." You know what I
right.
mean? Like, I need some space, you know? And if you had come back and said no, I'd be like, "Okay, well, let me know and we can get something to
Yeah.
chat," you know? And then it was simple. It was a quick talk. It wasn't because I know your heart, right? The trust. I
Yep.
didn't have to sit here and say, "What were you thinking?" I'm only
Who yeah,
referencing,
yeah,
because
yeah,
people
yeah, it
will be
wasn't
like
that
that.
energy. No,
On
no.
reality TV, these women will be like, "Well, who were you out with? And what was that about?" And almost assuming something occurred.
And that's because probably something might have occurred in the past, or maybe there
But if
was a
that's the case, do
thing,
you know
like,
your partner?
like,
Who are
that's
you
the
with?
trust,
Who
that's
are
the
you
trust,
with?
and you
It's
can't move
like
forward if you're still stuck in those, like, things,
I'm
like
telling you, I've had partners in the past who literally will allow for the implication that something happened when you know good and damn well I'm not like that. Do you know
right,
what I mean? Like
right,
if there's anything anyone can speak to my character, I'm not a cheater. Like I do not cheat. I do not like try to fuck people over. Like that is not my energy, right? So if anyone who knows me like knows that that's like I'm a lot of things. I can be difficult, I can be a headache,
that's right,
like I
that's
will
right.
speak my mind and be very direct. People think Nicole's all nice and you say that's right, but it's true.
I know.
You joke about it sometimes because sometimes you're like, "Nicole, you are so conflict avoidance, but you're also very good at being direct." Like,
It's very much both.
yeah, you're like
It's
bring that energy to the,
mhm,
thing. So like previous partners, like to say like, "Well, I don't know, could she be a cheater? Could she come the fuck on? I'm
right,
not a cheater." You know
right.
what I mean? Everybody knows that. So I don't worry about that with you because that's not your
Yeah,
character.
no.
You know what I mean? I'm not worried that you're gonna cheat on me. So I wouldn't even come to you in a trust situation from a space of what were you doing last night and who
Mhm,
were you with? It
mhm.
wasn't I don't even think we talked about that because it was not on the table.
No, it was just like, "Hey, I was worried, like, you should have told me what you were doing.
I
Like,
know
I didn't
everything's
sleep very
fine,
much. I know everything's fine, but just, like,
communicate.
communicate." And then I was just like, "You're right.
Yes, you were. You
I
didn't
should
sit there and you weren't
I wasn't
defensive,
defensive. I was like,
whatever.
"You're right. I should have just let you know that I was gonna be out way later than usual,
Mhm,
and, it was just special circumstances,
mhm.
and I
It
should just
got
let
away
you
from
know."
yourself and you should have said it.
I just got away from myself. I got carried away with the fun and, being with some friends, and,
Mhm.
I was like, "I'm sorry. Like, I
Yep, and
do
that
better
was
next
it.
time,"
And
you
so when we
know?
talk about the hitting the goals, it's like if the first part is trust and always making sure that stays in the room and is being nurtured, the second part is definitely communication
Mhm.
and communication with prioritization. So like for me, we always prioritize the nature of our relationship and our family above anything else with our
Mhm.
goals. If a goal that I really really want is going to harm our family, not money, I mean, our family, our dynamic, our relationship, whatever else, it is a no. And I think it's worth hearing, because at least for me, this stands out because it was not like this in previous relationships. If I was in previous relationships where it seemed like big money or big influence or big visibility was an opportunity,
Mhm.
even at the expense of my well being, which would impact the family,
Mhm.
or even at the expense of our family dynamic or our marriage,
Mhm.
it was like, fuck it, go for it. I
Well,
don't care because I want the cash. You know
right.
what I mean? But you are like, I don't care if it's a Grammy, Emmy, blah, 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 Nicole. Like, that shit ain't happening. Sit your tail down.
Right.
You know what I
I
mean?
mean, this was the perfect example because
Not a story about me.
well, it's
Okay,
not
go ahead.
it's not a story. It's around the same
Principle, yeah.
principle of like prioritization, right?
Mhm.
Like you had held it down, worked your ass off, and in recent weeks, being transparent about just the situation, feeling maybe a little bit disconnected,
Oh,
you
yeah, I said that
know,
out loud, yeah. Mhm.
just it was like it was hard. There was just like the final weeks of this program and we didn't really get a lot of us time
Well, just also
and
baby needs more now,
baby
and
needs
our house is filled
more.
as fuck.
Yeah, we have so many people
We
in
have
the
so many
house
people in our house right now.
and
All the kids are home for
and
summer,
I'm
like,
and I'm trying
oh
my
god.
best like to spread out my time and make sure
But there's
everyone's
only
taken
so
care of,
much
but
of
there's
you.
only so much. And so like on that, the other night after I finished the program and they were having like an after party, but I just went out with you that night because like you know how much I prioritize you. And
Mhm.
I respect you and I love you and I appreciate you for everything that you did to help me get through those 9 months. Like that program, like that was so insanely helpful, not just for me, but for us and
Mhm.
everything.
Mhm.
And like you are the top priority and more than anything.
I love you. I
And
love
so
you.
but like and so that's where the trust comes from because I think it's important sometimes to really show, that you're the priority,
Yeah, I appreciate
you
that,
know?
and that's kind of what I hope. I think in everything we do, around our goals and around, our personal drive, and the goals are family goals. People always say like, "Well, you guys don't do vision boarding together." You not We do. Like we talk about what are we
You talk
trying
about
to
I'm not sitting
do and
around
break it.
clipping out
We're not
pictures
clipping
and,
out
you know
magazine
what I mean? I'm
things,
not
but we're holding each other's vision in front of each other. Like so
Yeah,
if I say this is the thing I'm trying to do, you will come in studio and be my emotional support husband, to literally say, "Hey, this is what it needs to sound like." And this is, you are not, because also it's your gift, right? With production and music supervising and all that, where if I'm delivering something and you're like, hey, the sound on this isn't right or the languaging isn't clear, you're very effective to put on that hat and lend it to me. But it's because you're holding the vision of the outcome that I have said I
right. It's
desire,
not for myself, it's for you.
It's
And
for
I'm
me,
like, if I have
100%.
any gifts or any
100%.
abilities to lend myself to
It's that.
help you, we're not working together in
Mhm.
a coworker
I'm
kind
not
of
hiring you.
relationship. We're not
Yeah,
hiring
no.
each other. It's just
Mm-mm.
like if I have any skills that I can lend myself to help
Help me
you,
shine.
then I
Mhm.
will.
And
And
I do
and
the same for
likewise,
you.
if you have skills that,
Mhm.
then it's really helped me kind of get
Mhm.
mindset stuff or logistics or
Or
whatever it is.
business or
Business.
contract review
Oh my
or
God.
whatever, like why would we outsource that if we're able to work on it together? But there's still a clear line. I do not work in your business. I do not work for your business.
Right.
And the same thing applies in reverse,
Yep.
and that has really, I think, helped. So if the first thing is trust and the second thing is that communication and prioritization, I would definitely say the final thing that I believe has really helped us hit goals every 30 to 90 days is viewing each other and our input and interaction and our personal growth as an investment in our collective, right?
Mhm.
So, you talk about me holding things down for 9 months and how you're so thankful because that helped you, whatever. But the truth is, it's an investment because I like stuff. And it's with that I want to pull out the list of things
No.
that you are going to get me
Oh
once
my
you
God.
become a quadrillionaire.
Oh my God.
Because, yeah, don't oh my God me, because look, I was not just doing all this stuff for kicks, and I
There's
want
an
everyone here to
ever-growing
understand
list.
it's not an ever-growing list. It is a consistent list that has a lot of deep meaning. So for those of you who may not
Mm.
know, Alex obviously is saying, "Oh, she held it down. She's such a good wife, yada yada yada." But like I highly encourage everyone to build their own the official when Alex is stupid rich, how I'm going to spend and hour is in quotation marks, money list. Build one, share it with your
Mm.
partner. This is the type of vision boarding we love.
Yep.
Am I right?
Mhm.
Am I right? So I'm going to give you a sample because this is a 30-point list at this point. All right, I mean,
I
I
think on
can
the
type the
second page there are some particularly
there were some items.
interesting
There's some deep items.
items.
Yeah,
Yeah.
page 2. So, while I think that, you're welcome, right? You're welcome on the hold down.
Thank you.
Thank you. You're welcome on the hold
Yes.
down. Here's the investment that I think I'd like to have. And, we communicate these up front.
Uh-huh.
2 llamas, 4 goats, and 6 chickens. This is just a general kind of like farm-based urban.
Farm animal.
Yeah, that type of life. Yeah. Chanel
Mhm.
bags. Notice I did not delineate specificity around which bag. It's a pluralized situation.
Mhm,
Just
mhm.
bags.
Bags in general.
Massage therapist on retainer.
Mhm.
Custom wig room.
Like a whole room dedicated for custom wigs.
Correct. Spanish tutor. C. Exactly. Personal driver, right? I don't ever want to touch a steering wheel
por
again.
favor.
Yes. I don't ever want to touch one again. Personal driver. Custom garden design and build. The Marina house, because
Yep.
there's a house in Marina that I really like that I'd
Yes.
like you to get. And also
Yes.
the Mexico house. I haven't picked one, but Mexico.
Mexico.
The East Coast house, somewhere
Okay.
over there. So
You,
that's
you sure you just don't want to put houses?
no 8, 9, 10. That's just locations. Shoes,
That's a given.
all of them.
All of the
shoes,
shoes.
comma, all of them. Custom cheese fridge.
That one makes the most sense to
I want
me.
a fridge exclusively for cheeses.
I feel like that makes the most sense for you.
Each shelf with its own temperature climate to best support the region of cheese.
All right, get the fuck out of here.
Make it happen, Captain. Okay. I need a every streaming channel. Right now, there's no bigger recession indicator than me looking at my streaming channels and being like, do I need Paramount Plus and Hulu? I don't want to decide. I want to live a life of luxury and say okay.
And
that's what I need
right.
from you.
Mhm.
A personal pastry chef.
Yep.
I want a fresh basket of croissants
I'm on board
every
with that.
Monday morning. Weekly flower delivery. You give me flowers.
I do.
And you do that regularly. I just want them delivered like seasonally. A slushy machine. I like slushies. I like slushies. Falconry classes. I added this one most recently.
Falconry classes.
I said what I said.
So, and also a falcon.
And also, of course,
that's a given.
of falcons.
A fleet
A
of
flock
falcons.
of falcons.
A flock
of falcons,
of falcons
to support my study in falconry. This is for.
Oh my God.
Look, that is number 28.
I didn't know that made it on the list.
It did because I love falcons. They're meat eaters. And they listen. They come when you beckon them.
You get it, people. It's quite the list.
Absolutely. But I also understand that is, when it comes to recognizing how do I invest in trust and hit our goals, keep your own list, sis. Because when you invest in your man, all you do is slide that bad boy across the table. The minute that you get your Grammy and they slide that to you, I will be side stage sliding you this list.
Mm-hmm.
I love you.
I love you.
Do you have a list for me?
No, but I'm thinking I really should now. I should make a list.
You work on that.
I will.
I'm here to support you.
Amazing.
But, all the questions we get about it really, trust, priorities, and then recognizing, all jokes aside, you are investing in your partner, and it is investment in your marriage. So when I do things that are hard, I always, because I trust again, and I trust knowing that whatever work you're doing in our partnership around, what may look like your goals are for our goals.
Mm-hmm.
And I know you prioritize me still in the marriage, meaning whatever you chase is not at the expense of me, my well-being, our family. It makes it really easy for me to invest everything I have in you.
Yep.
It feels like a good and worthy place to put it.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, I love you so much. And I also know you do the same for me. So
I do, because my work's important. Your work is important.
Mm-hmm.
Like mine's not more important than yours.
Mm-hmm.
Like it, even playing field, equal level of importance.
That's right. We do not measure by money.
Just support each other. That's right.
Yeah, we do not measure by fame. We measure it by potential. And I think we both have infinite potential.
Yeah, although I have potential to be more famous.
And I received that. Listen, because again, I have this list. So you go for it, baby. Okay, you go for it. I love you so much.
Love you too.
I hope that helps everyone and that you're able to go crush your goals together as a couple. Next week, we resume our wonderful interviews and chats on the Tell Me More podcast, but we hope that you found out a little bit more about us. Thanks for being here, Alex.
No problem. Bye.
Bye.